Welcome back. This is Always Acting Up. My name is Caslin. This is going to be part 2 of creating content with Destiny. If you are just now tuning up, make sure to stop, go back, check out part 1, where we talked about creating your very first project, casting, and much, much more. If you've already checked it out, you guys are in for a treat. So stay tuned and enjoy.
Oh, yes. I did have quite a few challenges along the way, and it's something that really helped me learn how to be a good director and an efficient leader. Like I really found my own strength throughout this project, and I learned that challenges are inevitable, especially in indie film. I made sure that I listened to other ideas on set. Listening was very important to me. I wanted everyone to feel like their voices mattered. I had one rule is, we respect each other. So the one thing I didn't tolerate was disrespectfulness. And I went through several different, before I actually landed with the crew that I had on the final version of the film, I actually had worked with a few friends in the past, actually, before. And, we clashed on, I had a co-producer who I clashed with on vision and just artistic differences. And we eventually split ways for those creative differences. Ultimately, you want to work with people that have different ideas and collaborate on those and have, be able to, can't think of a word.
Get your project finished, like the end vision. Like you want to be able to get on the same page while still fulfilling everyone's creativity.
Ultimately, you want to compromise, but one thing I didn't want to compromise is my vision or the story. And it got to a point where that specific producer had a different idea they want to go with it. And at the end of the day, I had to kind of stick out my chest a little bit and say, this is my project. If there's things that are not possible to do, then that's understandable. But I do have a vision, and I'm going to work towards that vision as much as I can. So there were things like that happened. I did have to recast an actor at some point. I did face challenges being a female director and being a female first-time director, where there were things that I did as a director on set with work with my actors that I had, one actor that just did not want to do the work. And, I had a first AD who was a male who gave the same direction, and this actor would listen, but didn't listen to it from me. So it became a conflict. And so, I spoke with this actor one-on-one. I don't like, calling people out in public settings because people react differently in private than they do publicly. And this guy just did not want to respect me at all. Didn't think that he needed to. And, I got to a point where it was just like, well, if this isn't the direction that you want to go in, then this might not be the right project for you. And we had to split ways. Luckily for me, the recasting turned out great. Everyone that's in my film now was meant to be in the film and did a fantastic job. And I'm so grateful for that. These actors worked extremely hard, gave a lot of their own input as they got to know the characters. We had rehearsals, and they really enjoyed the process. So everything happened for a reason. I'm grateful for that.
I'm curious, if I can go into the mind of this actor, I'm curious as to why he just decided that he wasn't going to take your direction. Meanwhile, he knew you were the writer, you were in the casting room, he knew you were the director, so he knew all of this beforehand. I'm wondering, did he just think that he was going to make his own decisions and his own movies? I'm just curious as to why he would not want to listen. I have no idea. That's so weird to me.
Yeah, it was quite strange because in the audition process, obviously you have to listen to the director in the audition, and he did quite well with direction. But I think he didn't realize that my process in creating this film was going to be a lot more hands-on. We had rehearsals, and this actor didn't want to show up to rehearsals even, and it was getting a little out of hand. And I think because of the first-time director, he felt like my process was just something I was doing, not without purpose, maybe.
I get that.
And so, and not realizing that I had a good head on my shoulders, was very well organized,
Great
had
crew.
great crew, and great mentorship. I didn't do anything that I did not, make sure was appropriate.
Yeah, that
and not overboard.
it probably would have been helpful for him to maybe do a little bit of research to see who was going to be also on set with you. That probably would have helped, knowing it's not going to be everyone's first film just because it was your first time directing. It wasn't Alberto's first time filming a project. It wasn't anybody else's first time. Like, you were surrounded by really strong people.
Absolutely. And that's where we began to realize that there was a little bit of kind of, sexism going on. Like, I don't like to try to play the card, but my first AD was somebody that was very well known in the community and as well. And when he gave the direction, I was like, oh, okay.
You're like, okay.
It's like, oh, so it's like, all right, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
But even still, just being able to have a conversation with someone and communicate your thoughts and feelings without being disrespectful is so important to me. I can understand challenging and asking questions. I'm not opposed to that. I think with good leadership, you should be open to other ideas and listening. But the fact that if you can't communicate or you're not willing to communicate, then we can't find common ground that way. There's no way to do that. And so it becomes just disrespectful at that point.
Yeah, I mean, communication, sometimes it's a little hard, but you really honestly can't accomplish anything else without it.
Absolutely.
So, do you think now that you have made your very first project, is there anything that you would have done differently now that you know?
Yes. I would invest much, much more time in the planning of post-production. Post-production was one of my largest challenges on this project. Ultimately, why it took so long to complete it. There were things that I thought were going to get done that didn't get done, so I had to kind of jump in and learn things for myself. But I would definitely work harder on having those things in place prior to even beginning shooting, probably.
Are there some websites and things you went online for some tutorials, or you kind of just played with it to see if it worked?
Yes, a little bit of mentorship. I was lucky to have people like Alberto Triana on my crew who had experience with things like Adobe Premiere and showed me like the basics. I got to shadow his process a little bit. But he was really good at like helping me learn on my own. Like, all right, you see the shell of what can happen. Now you go in and work on it, which was really, really cool. I had a lot of time to play with it. And then YouTube University.
I know, you can find anything on YouTube. Like, if I'm stuck and I can't figure something out, I'm like, oh, well, just let me go on YouTube and watch 15,000 videos of talented people having the same struggles as me, but getting it done.
Absolutely. It's a lifesaver.
So do you have any advice to people, actors, or sometimes just your everyday person who'd like to start making films and projects? Like, what advice would you give someone?
I would tell that person to go for it. Really, really, really think about the story that you want to tell and just tell it. I think that we spend so much time trying to make things perfect that sometimes it can halt our process. Like, you might not get anything done if you're waiting for it to be perfect, because it never will be perfect. And I found myself stopping so many times about this process because it wasn't exactly what I want. Or I was afraid that people weren't going to get it. but the people who are going to get it are who it's for.
Yeah,
It's not
that's your
for the people.
audience. Hmm.
Yeah, it's not for the people who don't get it. So do it for them. Get it out there. Someone needs to hear your story, and
Yeah.
that would be the biggest advice I would give is to just go for it. Easier said than done for sure, but try.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think like honestly the first thing you can do is you just gotta start. Get your paper and pen and you just gotta start and you just gotta do it and ask a bunch of questions along the way. I think starting small, getting your kinks out, learning the very, very basics. And you know what's funny is there's TikTok is now huge and I went on there the other day and you can make like little movies and I'm like, wow, this is essentially everyone's a little mini filmmaker right now. This is amazing.
Yeah, everyone starts from somewhere, and I get a lot of nice little life quotes from my mom. Actually, growing up, and something she used to say was, "Nothing beats a failure than to try,"
Hmm.
and it's so true. Like I can't fail at something if I don't try to do it first.
You can fail, and then 5 years down the line, you're going to be in a whole new level that if you started 5 years from now, you're going to be so far behind. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that's really coming across, but that's what I'm trying to say.
No, absolutely. Like that's actually something that I think is really good advice for people jumping into acting or filmmaking. If I look at where I was, 5 years ago as an actor, even, a few months ago as an actor or a filmmaker, I have grown exponentially. I think that's a great life lesson, period, no matter what career, career goals you have in mind or where you are in your life. You have to lend yourself to the journey, and just trust that the journey will make you. And that if you have an idea of where you want to be in mind, go for it. And the process will help create you along the way. Because it definitely has for me. There's moments when I watch the film now and I'm just like cringing at
Because
certain
you've learned
things,
so much and you know differently now. That's
Right.
funny. That's exactly what I was trying to say, but I couldn't quite get the words out. So
No, I
basically,
totally feel you.
YOLO.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's the life lesson right there.
Basically, YOLO. So, do you think that in some point in the future you're probably going to work on another short? You're going to create more content, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I'm actually in the process of working on a web series. I'm in a group collaboration on a short film as well. And then I have my own personal projects that I'm working on. I have outlines for too. So I do want to do more writing. I do want to shoot more. And I got to listen to my own advice and just go for it and stop trying to make sure everything's perfect.
Ah, that's awesome. I was actually just going to ask, so what are you working on now? Like, what's up for Destiny Nelson?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I did a play. I was a co-writer and co-director for a play that we did for the Las Vegas Fringe Festival this year. And it did much better than we expected. We got really good reviews as well. And we didn't realize we were going to touch so many people with this short play. So once again, I'm going to be taking a play and making a film adaptation of it. So I'm in the process of writing that right now as we speak
That's
with a
amazing.
wonderful group of ladies.
Is this what's the name of this play? Is this the one you just did?
Yes, it's called 23 and We.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's amazing. I mean, I think kind of keeping the creativity going and you have a really great group of people to work with. I'm excited to see what comes with this one.
Absolutely. And this one's a comedy, so it'll be quite different than
Oh yeah,
this, than the
definitely
trap.
different. Cool. So, how can everyone follow you? The film is not for the public yet, but how can everyone kind of follow your work and stay in touch with you?
Yes, my website is www.destinyfaith.com, and I keep that up to date with everything that I'm doing from acting to music to filmmaking. And I'm pretty up to date on Instagram as well. So you can find me at my handle, I am Destiny Faith. So I, the letter M, Destiny Faith on Instagram.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. And you know what this means? This means we are at our moment of positivity for the podcast. So hang tight. I'm going to do some fancy music for us. So every podcast I like to finish with a little bit of positivity. It can be a quote or maybe something someone has said to you, something that motivates you. And I usually do this, but I'm going to give you the honors this episode to do a moment of positivity. So if you have anything you'd like to share with us, we are all ears.
Oh, I am so honored to get to do the moment of positivity. I like to tell people, no matter what you're doing in life, no matter where you find yourself, whether you're doing successfully or whether you feel like you are on rock bottom, to really remember to be human first. One of my goals in life is to always challenge perspective and understand that no one knows the answers to everything, and that's okay. But to have empathy and to attempt to understand other perspectives, I think will help to make this world a better place. And so I just leave you guys with be human first. Whenever you're thinking about the next thing you're going to do to somebody or say to someone, remember, keep in mind to be human first.
I love that. Be a good person. You would
Yeah.
think it's really not that hard, but sometimes you talk to people and you're like, whoa, okay, I'm sorry, like, did I do something to you?
Yes. And that's just being conscious of that. We're all human, so it's like you might have moments where you're not the most positive person. That's okay, but just like take it in, and understand that it's okay to not know everything. It's okay for other people to have different perspectives than you. That's why I want to do filmmaking, because I think you can challenge those perspectives. People have empathy when they're able to envision themselves going through something or when they can see someone else going through something. And I think film allows you to show people that are different than you and see what they're going through. And you can have empathy.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this to be finished, The Trap. I know you're doing some reworking on it, but I can't wait for people to see it and hit the festival circuits because it's a really strong, powerful film with a really strong, real message. And I really think you're going to accomplish some great things with this film. So I'm excited. And when it's finished, you'll have to send me a link so I can post it in the comment section so everyone can view it.
Awesome. Thank you. I will definitely do that.
Cool. Well, that wraps up our podcast for today on creating your own content. I want to thank Destiny Faith for joining us today. That was a fabulous conversation. And I hope you guys learned something. I mean, anything's possible. You can get it done. Surround yourself with a good crew, have a good story, and just put your pen to paper and start. Make sure you guys to follow along. I've got more podcasts coming up. You can follow me on my podcast, Always Acting Up, or of course on my YouTube page. You'll find me, Caslin Rose, that is Caslin. Go ahead and join me on the Instagram because I need new followers. Go ahead and follow Destiny as well. It's I'm Destiny Faith. And like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Stay tuned. You guys have a good day. That was fun. Follow her, follow us, and I'll keep you guys posted about the film because I'm serious. It was really, really good. So in the meantime, peace.